Discover the meaning of pixelated with an I and not need.
What is that?
For someone to be pixelated, P-I-X-I-lated, is to be stinking drunk. Pixelated with an E is just about the number of pixels in a picture.
Right.
It's a deceptively simple script. I mean, it's a series of 22 scenes, some of which are short, some of which are long. They all kind of have this sort of like very specific time and place, little tiny bits of plot happen, but they don't really hang together as a full play, right? They're just a series of sort of short to long scenes. And so for me, as a director, I need the actors to not think about how does the play unfold as a complete narrative, but how do those individual scenes impact their characters' development and transformation? I like all that. Does that impact anybody in a weird way that feels awkward? No?
No, I think it kind of heightens the tension between, just because Ross is a really short-sighted view.
So what we spend a lot of time doing is talking about relationships, status, authority, power, influence, what happens within the play that changes their character's perspective or the innate nature of those characters. And that's not something that you can really do while you're trying to get them to block the movement. Or so I think we're talking about big kind of grand themes, dramaturgical themes that are basic to the understanding of how theater functions. Sounds completely wanky, but is also completely true.
We're talking about status a lot. We're talking about just different themes that are approaching the plays.
A lot of them being about control your body and the transformative nature of theater are a couple.
Transformation and bodies. And so I think a lot of what we've discussed in this first day of table work has been sort of like implications of those two big themes.
One of the things that I found most interesting was shamanism, the Aboriginals, and versus colonialism,
We talk a lot about relationships and hierarchy within the characters, which is really interesting. And then also just trying to figure out who our characters are based on what we say and what other people say about them.
Well, we talked a lot about status and hierarchy this evening and how that informs the relationships between our characters.
Between 22 characters, I believe most of us are playing multiple ones, so just really finding out who these people are and how they're connected really gives us a strong base of where to go.
I'm the only actor who's only playing one person, and so the differences in journeys with me compared to the other characters and how they relate and what that means textually and story-wise.
My main character, Mary, has a pretty big character arc, so just trying to cover all of those bases is pretty challenging.
The part of the Aboriginal Australian who lives outside of any of the other relationships that we see in the play, and that is going to be a challenge. It's not a lot of text for this specific character, although I have other characters that have even less text, but there's even less of a container that is specific for it. So finding the intention or the purpose of this character for this particular performance, this particular production, is going to be the exciting challenge.
Dabby's my main character, but there's something about Meg. She's just so vile in some circumstances. It's like and she's so short. I just have a very minimal time of making what seems like an unrealistic person have humanity and realism, and that's a huge challenge.
I find the meat quickly. Let's cut that bit.
Ross definitely has lots of interesting lines textually. He speaks in a different rhythm, in a different dialect. He uses different kinds of words than the rest of the characters, and I think that's an interesting opportunity to make him stand out from the rest of the soldiers.
I have one character who's the commander of the whole island, and is very confident in the way he speaks and doesn't have a lot of self-doubt. So there's not a lot of inroads for emotional highs and emotional lows. He's just kind of a guy who speaks the truth and expects his word to be followed. And so finding places to, show moments of worry or show moments of self-doubt is something that might be interesting there.
So, as an actor, I generally tend to make things more difficult for myself than I need to. And I think I was just chatting with Scott, and I think that something that this play really lends itself to is just being really simple.
Table work for this show is important because I think the play appears at first glance to be very simple, but in actual fact there's an enormous amount of potential there, which just requires a careful eye and a little bit of contemplation, a little bit of discussion for us as a company and as an ensemble to say, we're given this, it's this small, it's this size, but in actual fact the potential is much larger. And just over the course of the last 3 hours, I've seen all of the actors in the show go, oh, it could be this. And that's what table work does for a play like this, which is dense and has so much potential.